On the last Thursday morning of July, 1,196 Bitcoin wallets were emptied in 41 minutes. Not bank accounts, cold wallets. The little devices people buy precisely so this can never happen. If you keep $50,000 of Bitcoin on a device in a desk drawer, this is about your drawer. One victim told reporters he lost $1.6 million. He kept his device offline. He kept his backup words in a safe. He did everything the experts said, and his Bitcoin left anyway. Here's the part that should stop you cold. The thieves never touched a single device. Nobody broke into a house. Nobody opened a safe. More than $100 million walked out of locked drawers, and every lock stayed shut. And here's what almost nobody is telling you. In this entire robbery, one group of owners lost nothing. Zero. The thing that saved them costs almost nothing to set up, and it's the same thing that will protect your family after you're gone. I'll show you exactly what it was. A couple of weeks back, I told you about the first reports of this. 594 Bitcoin gone in 25 minutes. The counting didn't stop there. It grew past 1,300 coins. So today isn't a news video. Today is the one that stays useful for years. How cold storage works, which device does what, and how to set yours up so a robbery like this bounces off your money. I check the live Bitcoin price on my own dashboard every morning before the headlines. I'll tell you where that lives in a bit. Let's start at the kitchen table. Your Bitcoin is not inside the little device. It never is. Every Bitcoin lives on one big public ledger, a record book copied onto thousands of computers around the world. What you own is not a coin in a box. What you own is a secret that moves your line in that book. That secret is usually written as 12 or 24 ordinary words. You've heard them called a seed phrase. Those words are the whole ballgame. Anyone on Earth who reads your 12 words owns your Bitcoin. No password reset, no fraud department. The words are the money. So all of Bitcoin security is one question. Where do the words live? If they live on a phone or computer that touches the internet, that's a hot wallet. Hot, like a stove you can burn yourself on. Fine for pocket money, the way you keep $40 in your billfold, not for savings. If they live on a small device that never shares them with the internet, that's cold storage. A cold wallet. A hardware wallet. Three names for one idea. The secret stays in a sealed box, and the box signs for you the way you sign a check, without ever handing over the pen. For 17 years, that's been the gold standard. Then July happened. So let's open the machine and find what broke. Because what broke tells you exactly what to buy and what to do. Every hardware wallet has one sacred job on day one. Invent your 12 words by rolling dice. Not real dice, a special chip that makes truly random numbers. The randomness is the whole security. There are so many possible 12-word combinations that every computer on Earth, guessing together for millions of years, should never find yours. Your words aren't protected by a guard, they're protected by math. One grain of sand on a beach the size of the universe. Now imagine the dice are loaded. In March of 2021, one line of code inside Coldcard software took a wrong turn. One line. Instead of using the special chip, the real dice, some devices quietly used a shortcut, a predictable shuffle, like a lottery machine that's supposed to hold 1 trillion balls, but only got loaded with a few. The words still looked perfectly random. Nobody could tell by looking, but the beach had shrunk, small enough that a determined computer could grind through it. That's exactly what the thieves did, from home. They ran the same loaded shuffle, made millions of candidate word lists, and checked each one against the public ledger, which anyone can read. Then, on July 30th, at least a dozen separate thieves turned their keys at once. 41 minutes, 1,196 wallets, $70 million in the first wave, over $100 million with the later waves. That's how you rob a safe without touching it. You don't crack the lock. You discover the factory accidentally made a master key, and you cut your own copy. The company shipped a fix the next day, but a new version of the software can't heal old words. If your words were born from loaded dice, they're guessable forever. The only cure was fresh words on fixed software, and moving every coin over. The families who did that quickly kept their money. The ones who didn't hear in time fed the second wave. So write this down. Your device's maker has a free alert channel, and you need to be on it. That alert is worth more than anything they sell. And the man with the 1.6 million? He didn't fail. His device failed him, invisibly, 5 years earlier. That's the real lesson. Any one machine can be wrong in a way you cannot see. So the answer is never find the perfect machine. The answer is a setup where no single machine can cost you everything. Hold that thought. First, meet the machines. You'll need one or two either way. Four names come up the moment you search for the best Bitcoin wallet: Trezor, Ledger, OneKey, and Coldcard. Four gun safes from four companies. All four keep out the neighborhood kid. The differences are in the details, and after July, details matter. Trezor is the old-timer. A Czech company. They built the first hardware wallet you could buy, back around 2014. Their big idea is openness. Every line of their software is published, so thousands of outside experts can read the recipe and hunt for mistakes. Models run from roughly $80 for the Safe 3 to around $250 for the Safe 7. One honest wart. Researchers once showed a thief who stole certain older Trezors could squeeze the secret out with lab gear in 15 minutes. The newer safe models added a hardened vault chip, and in a minute I'll give you a fix that works on any device. Ledger is the big seller. French, more devices in the wild than anyone. The basic Nano runs about $80. The touchscreen models run $250 to $400, which is a lot for something you use twice a year and hide from yourself. Their strength is a bank card grade vault chip, certified to the level banks demand. Two honest warts. In 2020, somebody stole Ledger's customer shipping list, store records, not coins, and scammers spent years mailing threats to buyers' homes. And in 2023, Ledger announced a paid service that backs up your words. Proof the words can leave the chip if you say yes to the wrong menu. No coin has ever been stolen out of the chip itself. But part of Ledger's recipe stays secret. You're trusting the chef, not reading the cookbook. OneKey is the newcomer. The classic 1S costs about $100, thin as two credit cards, and pulls off a rare double. Fully open software like Trezor, and a top-grade vault chip like Ledger. No Bluetooth, no wireless, cable only, and fewer doors means fewer break-ins. The honest wart. The company is young. Cheap, simple, honest, but short on gray hair. And Coldcard, yes, the company from the news. Canadian, Bitcoin only, the hardcore crowd's pick. About $160 for the Mark IV, about $250 for the Q with its keyboard and camera. It's the only one built to be air-gapped. It never plugs into your computer at all. It passes messages on a little memory card, like notes slid under a door, so even a virus-riddled PC can't reach it. It carries two vault chips from two different makers, on purpose. So how did this company ship the loaded dice? Because the flaw wasn't in the vault. It was one line in the dice rolling code, sitting in plain sight in public software. And for 5 years, nobody caught it. They patched it in a day, but let it sink in. The most paranoid device on the market carried the bug. Openness helps. It guarantees nothing. So which do you buy? My plain read? Bitcoin only and maximum caution. Coldcard on current software. Open code at a low price? Trezor Safe or OneKey. Polished and simple? Ledger. Any of them, bought new and set up right, beats 95% of owners. Because after July, the rule is, the brand is not your security, the setup is. And one number drives every setup decision: what your stack is worth. That live Bitcoin price I check each morning sits on my macro command center at timtalksfinance.com/members. And it's the honest way to size how much armor your pile needs. Now, the promise from the top. In every wave of this robbery, one group lost nothing: the people using Multisig. Let me take the fancy word apart, because underneath is an idea your grandfather already trusted. Multisig means multiple signatures. Instead of one secret controlling your Bitcoin, you create several, say 3, and set a rule written into the ledger itself. Any two of the 3 must sign before a coin moves. You've seen this your whole life. The bank vault that needed the banker's key and yours turned together. The church collection count that took 2 signatures. OneKey alone is a paperweight. Watch what that did in July. Some careful people had one of their 3 keys on a Coldcard with the loaded dice. The thieves cut their copy of that key, same as everyone else. They opened the door and hit a second locked door. Because one signature out of 3 moves nothing. 0 coins lost. The bug that emptied 1,200 single key wallets bounced off every proper multisig on Earth. That's the whole philosophy. Build a setup where no single failure, no bug, no fire, no thief, no memory lapse can reach the money. Multisig quietly fixes one more thing. Sometimes the thief doesn't guess from across the world. Sometimes he knocks on the door. If your fortune moves with one key in one house, one visit can take it all. With 2 of 3 in different places, there's nothing in your house worth robbing you for. That's not just security. That's peace. If 3 keys sounds like homework, there's a junior version, the passphrase. Most devices let you add one extra word of your own on top of the 12, the 25th word. 12 words plus your word opens the real wallet. The 12 alone open a decoy. In July, that habit saved people too. Guessing the 12 got thieves an empty room. It's also the fix for the stolen Trezor problem. One warning in capital letters: there is no reset. Lose your extra word and the Bitcoin is sealed forever. Back it up on paper and steel, same as the 12. So here's the checklist, by size of stack. Grab a pencil, this part is the video. A few $100s of Bitcoin? A hot wallet on your phone is fine. It's a billfold. Move on. More than a month of retirement income, a few $1,000s? Buy a hardware wallet and follow the 7 rules. 1. Buy it new, from the maker's own website. Never a marketplace, never secondhand. Tampered devices are a real scam. 2. Write the words by hand and never, this is the never that pays for everything, never type them into a phone, computer, or website. Never photograph them. Pen, paper, metal, nothing with a battery. Every support agent who asks for them is a thief. No exceptions in the history of the world. 3. Stamp the words into steel. $20 of hardware store metal, because paper burns and house fires don't stop to read. 4. Add the passphrase, stored separately. 5. Get on the maker's alert channel and update when they say so. July's survivors were simply people who heard the news within a day. 6. Run a drill. Send $100 in, wipe the device, restore from your written words, confirm the 100 is still yours. That day you truly own cold storage. 7. Tell one trusted person a plan exists. Not the words, just that there's a plan. You'll hear why in a moment. And when losing the stack would change your family's life, 6 figures, or anything you'd cry over, graduate to 2 of 3 multisig, with keys on different brands. 1 key on a Coldcard, 1 on a Trezor, 1 on a Ledger, or OneKey. The why in one sentence. July proved any single company can ship a hidden flaw, so you build the vault from 3 companies and let them guard each other. Keep the keys in 3 places: home safe, bank box, trusted third spot, so no burglary, flood, or bad line of code touches more than one. If that feels like too much to set up alone, there are established companies whose whole business is holding one of your 3 keys and walking your family through the rest. You keep 2, so they can never move a coin without you. That isn't custody, it's a co-pilot. Which brings us to the part nobody wants to talk about, so we'll say it plainly. What happens to your Bitcoin on the day you die? Researchers who study the ledger think as many as 1 coin in 5 may already be lost forever. And a heartbreaking share of that is inheritance failure. A father who kept the secret so well, it died with him. A widow holding a strange little device she can't name. On the family scale, if you hold $200,000 of Bitcoin and your family can't find the words, They don't inherit $200,000. They inherit a paperweight. No court can reissue the words. Bitcoin has no lost and found. That's exactly what makes it Bitcoin. Here's what estate lawyers who understand Bitcoin recommend, and it fits on an index card. First, the words never go in your will. A will gets filed in probate court, and probate is public, read to the whole room, including the nephew nobody trusts, and in most counties, any stranger can pull the file. A seed phrase in a will is your money, published. Second, set up a revocable living trust, the same tool folks already use to pass a house without the courtroom. The trust is the who. It names who gets the Bitcoin and who runs the handover, privately, no probate. It never contains a single seed word. Third, next to the trust papers, a letter of instruction. The letter is the how. There is Bitcoin. Here's what it is. The keys are in these 3 locations. Here's the company or friend who knows the devices. Call them first, before anyone plugs anything in or asks the internet for help. Still no seed words. It's a map to the keys, not a copy of them. Fourth, the beautiful part. Multisig makes the plan safe while you're alive. 2 of 3 plus the trust means your spouse and your attorney together can recover everything the week after the funeral. But the lawyer alone can take nothing. The kid alone can take nothing. A burglar with the letter can take nothing. You hold full control until the day you don't need it. Then the plan takes over. And one practice afternoon with your heir, moving $100 together, turns the plan from a document into a skill. Now step back because there's a bigger story in this hack, and it's why I made this video. The headlines all sang the same tune. Self-custody failed. Holding your own Bitcoin is for daredevils. Be sensible. Buy the ETF. Leave it on the exchange. I understand the fear, but run the history. The biggest Bitcoin losses of all time did not happen in desk drawers. Mt. Gox, an exchange, the professionals of their day, lost customers' coins by the hundreds of thousands. FTX was the smartest guys in the room, right up until $8 billion of customer money, $8,000 ahead for a million customers, wasn't there. Against that, July. 100 and some million, one fixable bug, a patch in a day, and every multisig held. Other people's custody has lost Bitcoin owners 100 times more than cold storage bugs ever have. The drawer, done right, still beats the vault with someone else's name on it. And the ETF? Fine for what it is. But be clear what it is. A claim on Bitcoin, held by an issuer, wrapped in a fee. 0.25% sounds tiny. On $100,000, it's $250 a year, forever, for the privilege of not holding your own property. And the fee isn't the deep cost. The fund can be frozen. The account can be garnished. The rules can change with one letter from a regulator. Every wrapper has a man in charge of the wrapper. The whole reason Bitcoin is worth securing is that it's the one asset on Earth with no man in charge at all. Look at what actually failed in July and what didn't. A company's code failed. One line, typed by a human in 2021. The Bitcoin protocol processed every one of those transactions exactly as written. No bailout, no do-over, no phone call to anybody, because there is nobody to call. 17 years running in public with $1 trillion bounty on its head, and no thief has ever cracked the ledger itself. 21 million coins. Fixed. Forever. No servers, only a protocol. Companies fail. That's why you spread keys across 3 of them. The one thing in this story that never needed rescuing is Bitcoin itself. I can't tell you what a coin will be worth the day your grandkids open that trust. Nobody can. There are no certainties, only probabilities. But serious models, Fidelity among them, sketch per coin numbers in the millions over the coming decades. Because 21 million coins is a hard wall, and the world's savings are a very large ocean. If even a modest slice comes true, the difference between the family that kept custody and the family that lost the words isn't a rounding error. It's the inheritance. So this weekend, the whole video in 4 moves. Buy the device new, from the maker. Put the words on steel, never on a screen. Size the armor to the stack. passphrase in the thousands, 2 of 3 multisig across different brands when it's serious money. And write the 2 papers that outlive you. The trust that says who, the letter that says how. Plus 1 practice afternoon so your family isn't learning Bitcoin for the first time at a funeral. 1,200 families just learned that a lock can fail. Yours can learn the better lesson for the price of a dinner out. Set it up so nothing, not a bug, not a burglar, not even your own passing, can take it, because no single key can move it. That's not paranoia. That's reading the fine print, which you already do, or you wouldn't be here. For real numbers on your own plan, the money quiz on my dashboard takes 2 minutes, free, no credit card, at timtalksfinance.com/members. It shows what inflation quietly costs your cash each year, with the live Bitcoin price beside it. I built it so you don't have to figure this out alone. Hold on to your Bitcoin, hold on to the keys, and set it up so your family holds both when you're gone. See you in the next one.